Hey Robots, Gunpla Builders World Cup season is here. And it's a really fun time, but also it's a wonderful chance because we get to talk with all of the top builders and if we're lucky, maybe with Kawaguchi-san, the Gunpla Meijin, and learn from them. Today I want to give you my top 3 strategies to maximize this learning chance for you. Hi, I'm Lincoln Wright, and I lived and worked in Japan for 25 years. I was young when I went there, as a professional in the sci-fi hobby industry, and I made this YouTube channel to share my unique story and journey with you. Gunpla Builders World Cup is a wonderful opportunity to learn from the assembled talent there. Probably all of the best builders will be there at your local Gunpla Builders World Cup. So here are my strategies for maximizing that chance to talk with them. Getting feedback is crucial to your development and learning in the hobby. Number 1, the ask. There's basically 5 points in this that I'd like to outline for you. The first thing is, just like everything in life, come in prepared. When you see your target, don't just wander up and say the first thing that pops into your mouth, because I'm guilty of doing that too. I know when this has happened because someone will come up and say, hey, how do I improve? How do I get better? Yes, that's exactly what we want to know, but it doesn't help. And that leads me into the second one. Be prepared by number 2, being specific. When you ask for specifics, you're helping the other person to go through their information, their information storage in their memory, and they'll be able to give you key examples of stuff that you might be able to try. Just for example, I often get people ask me questions in these situations, and I'd be really happy if people would even just break it down into things that they wanted to learn, like preparation of the model, airbrushing, weathering, basic weathering steps, groundwork, composition. That's at least the base level preparation we really should go into when we're asking people for stuff. When I approached Kawaguchi-san, I asked him about metallics because I could see that he has more experience than me with that. Third point in there is keep it brief. There's probably a bunch of people lining up to talk to your chosen guru, and we can't monopolize their time, especially if we're talking to somebody who's, up on high like Kawaguchi-san. And the fourth point there to really keep in mind, and this works for everything, is be very polite and courteous. I mean, often these people are guests at your show, they may not be local, and we want to show them a really good time. Always, whilst keeping it brief, keep it very polite and courteous, and don't overstay the welcome. When you feel the conversation kind of slow down a little bit, say your thanks, boom, get out, go for your next mission. Now, big step number 2 is listen. The listen is probably one of the most important of this one, because this is when you're getting the information. So the first part of listen is listen with the intent to listen. You've got to quiet your brain, have self-discipline, and resist the urge to... When you feel that come up inside you, you want to interrupt, zip it. When you want to explain yourself, again, you've got to zip it. And then especially the worst one for the poor person who's explaining something to you is to then defend your work. I mean, if you're already in a position to defend your work, why are you asking this poor person for advice? You've got to slow it down, resist the urge, zip it, and listen fully to what the person has to say. And then maybe even ask questions to fully understand where the person is going with their advice. This is important. Listen with the intent to understand, not to reply. Listening is the key to making improvements. And I'll tell you a very quick story. I still do. I ask Yokoyama-san, Yokoyama Sensei in Japan there for advice all the time. But I used to have to line up at shows like everybody else. I didn't have a private connection yet. So I saw the guy in front of me, and he was a more accomplished modeler than me at the time. And he almost gave rebuttals to everything Yokoyama Sensei was explaining to him. And this is the guy who owns and invented the genre, and he's not listening to him. When it was my next turn, I actually asked that. I just said, Sensei, why don't people listen to you? This is yours. What do they gain to actually talking back to you? And he said, this is why you're different, Lincoln. This is why you get better every single time, because you actually shut up, listen, and do, and then come back at a different level. It's like, okay. He says, the trouble is a lot of people ask for feedback, but don't really want it. They actually want just a pat on the back, which is fine, but it's not the way to grow. So then he said, you keep doing what you're doing. Ask, listen, and then do. And that brings me on to my last of the big 3 steps, is to do. The doing, you must act upon the great advice and feedback that you've been given. And I say do and share, because I think there is nothing more important and more fulfilling to the person who's given you the feedback is to show them what you've done with their wonderful advice. I mean, these people have given you their time, their effort, and even their life experience, all of that stuff that they've worked on. Most people like this are pretty cool about it. They will share freely with you. The best way for you to repay them is to take their advice, use it, and bring it back and show them. As an example, this year I will be doing exactly this. Here's my Lupus Rex model that I finished not long ago. Last year, I had the wonderful opportunity to speak quite a bit directly with the Gunpla Meijin, Kawaguchi-san, and I asked him advice on, the frames, what kind of things I should do with metallics. I asked him a bunch of questions, and he was fantastic, gave me a bunch of advice. And this is the result. I'll show you it again. I'm so happy with this one, and I'm so happy to share it with Kawaguchi-san at the show. Now, he may not remember, and that's fine. He speaks to hundreds, maybe thousands of people every year. But I'm sure if I just make mention, you gave me this advice, I took it, and I made this. It will make his day for sure. Cool, right? In summary, the big 3 are the ask, the listen, and the do. I really hope this advice is useful for you, and I hope you get a lot out of your next Gunpla Builders World Cup. I hope to see you at ours in Sydney, and if you like this video and this is the kind of stuff you like, please consider subscribing. Thanks a bunch, guys. See you soon. Bye. Big thanks to Hobbyco and Little Robot for their support and for bringing us the best brands and live events from Japan. Support local. Hope you guys are okay with this. Tomoe and I thought it's important to give an early shout out to the ever-expanding Epic Pop Robot Rocket Punch team. You guys are truly epic and we super appreciate you. Ivan, Grant, Con, Jack, RJ, Mr. Tweets, Matthias, Peter, Robert, Kelso, Kevin, Derek, Dom, Nick, Danny, John, Andy, Philippe, Jake, Pete, Ben, Justin, and let's welcome Iffy-chan to the team. Welcome, mate. Thank you so much, guys. And of course, the Brobot Inner Circle, the awesome folks that make this happen. I couldn't do it without you. Always, thank you so very much. Please join us.